Hello and welcome to jasonnewland.com. My name's Jason Newland. This is Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. And today is Monday's Boring Objects. Mondays, boring objects. Yeah. Or Monday's sleepy boring objects really should be called. Yeah, Monday's sleepy boring objects. Why have I not called it that then? I seem to forget the word sleepy for some reason. Oh well. Still got to update the Monday's Boring Objects page. Why have I not done that? I don't know. 19th of September 2021. 19th. That's weird. September. And it's like long time ago. I don't understand. So yeah, I was going to do, well, I started to do a recording last night and fireworks started again, so I had to abandon that. So it's 4:20, it's not dark outside, so I'm hoping there won't be any fireworks till at least like 6 or 7, but if there is, then I might have to abandon this one as well. I've just been very tired today. I also had a neighbour come round, and I've been taking Vinny out and a couple of walks with him, so I have to catch up with Big Brother. I didn't watch it last night. Yeah, I'm thinking of sticking, because you know I talked about doing, like having a regular, not changing, sticking to it plan, routine between, for the whole of next year, and not making any changes, which I can't guarantee because I've still been making changes, but it's more like additions. But I'm thinking maybe now that I've got quite a good week as far as Monday's Boring Objects, Trivia Tuesday, Whisper Wednesday, Thursday Throwbacks, and Q&A Friday. So there's five days in a row, every day. And it's taken me a while to get that kind of, so it fits. It seems to fit now. I mean, Q&A Friday is very well established, I would say. Monday's Boring Objects, I would also say, is established. Trivia Tuesday feels quite established as well now. Whisper Wednesday, I've done it, then I haven't done it, then I have done it, and now I do it. Thursday Throwbacks is a new thing, so I've done 2 weeks so far. But just to finish the current season of 80s TV shows by year, I've done 80 and 81. So I got 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. So there's still 8 years left, which is going to take me up to the end of the year pretty much. And then I can even go back to, maybe I can go to the 1990s TV shows. Or, well, that'd be going forward, wouldn't it? But going back, but forward, if you know what I mean. And then I could do one talking about songs, albums, movies. The list is quite long, I imagine, of different things that I could focus on. Clothing. Not that I've ever been particularly fashionable, but I could talk about stuff like that. But that would be a bit more research. Trends, technology, new technologies in the different years. Because, you know, things like mobile phones, the internet, microwave ovens, soda streams, the PC, so many old video recorders or video players, so many different things that kind of popped up throughout my life that have just became, well, some have come and gone, but some did stick around for a long time, like the video recorder, video player, and the DVD player. But now with streaming, that seems to have, I don't know if they still sell them. I guess they're still available. Yes, that's something, you know, in the future. Even things like beards and makeup and different, I don't know if we want to say fashions, but there's been different eras, isn't there? Like with music and with like punk and dressing up and things. What is it, like emo? Which is like all black and wearing gothic kind of gothic-y stuff, or gothic. I don't know what's the difference between emu, and gothic. But is emu's different colour hair? Is it? I don't know. I remember a few years ago seeing a lot of young women walking around with grey hair, like dyeing their hair grey. And I thought, wow. Just in a sense of, I just had a bit of an interruption there. It sounded like someone chucked something at the window. But I went into the bedroom, I looked out there and there's nothing. No one in the garden. And we've got, I think it's an acorn tree out the back, and it's quite windy, so I guess maybe it's one of those or whatever, but yeah. So, I mean, Vinny heard it, but it didn't bother him, so I guess maybe he's just used to it. He's used to the sounds of the things hitting the window. We do get it sometimes, but I was just curious. Anyway, grey hair on young, to be fair, it wasn't just women, it was young boys as well. And it's like, it's out of all the trends, I found that, I don't even know why. Probably, maybe it's because I'm grey and I don't want to be grey. And that's, yeah. it, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I used to shave my head when I was in my 30s. I didn't need to, because I was, quite into the Buddhism, and I was around people with shaved heads, and I don't know, I just thought I'd do it. And part of my reasoning at the time, when I was in my early 30s, all the way through pretty much, I've been shaving my head since then, on and off. But my main reason why I was completely bald for quite a while is that if I ever did go bald, in reality, when I'm older, then it wouldn't bother me. And you know what? I was wrong. I was dead wrong. It does bother me. And you might think, how can it bother you having a bald patch when you shave your head? It does, because although I don't need to shave my head because the bald patch is at the back of my head, I can't see it, but it's more prominent when I've got hair. Which kind of makes sense, doesn't it? I guess a bald patch would be more prominent when it's surrounded, like an island is more prominent when it's surrounded by sea. If it was surrounded by land, then, well, it wouldn't be an island anymore, would it? I guess. But grey hair, it was just, I didn't really... I've got no issue with grey hair anyway, just to let you know. I'm not prejudiced against grey hair, blimey. I have partial grey hair. I'm not completely grey, but I do have at the front, at the sides a bit. I've got grey hair, bits, and but it's still got dark hair as well. I have, honest. I can prove it. I can't prove it. It's just my word, isn't it? But whenever I shave, my beard is proper grey now. I mean, it's still dark there, but when I shave my beard off, it's still just a mixture of white. It's not grey anymore, it's not white. Ginger and dark brown. And some colours I don't even recognise. It don't even look human to me. I mean, Vinny's a ginger. I do get his hairs on my face sometimes. And, 'cause I don't know if anyone tells you, eyebrows have a life of their own. It's weird. Like, with age, I never knew this was a thing. Eyebrows will just... The hair is a different texture. Like, a hair will grow out of my eyebrow and I won't even know what it is. Like, I don't know if I've been invaded or... It's just this... It's almost like a cactus branch, kind of like prickly thing. It's like, what the hell is that? I don't allow it to stay. I remove it or cut it off or trim it down. It's like, what the hell? It's just so out of... Just, it doesn't... It's just like on its own. And I know that I'm never... Because I've got quite... I've got quite thin eyebrows. I've got quite... Yeah, always have done. There's a picture of me when I was a kid, and I got the same eyebrows now as I had then. But it's these random hairs just grow. And I'm thinking, the one thing I'm not going to be when I'm in my 90s, or 97, I've decided, at least 97. When I'm in my 90s, I'm not going to have big, bushy eyebrows. I just don't want that. I don't want it for myself. I don't want it It's just not something I want. We all want different things. I'm not prejudiced against eyebrows. I'm not. Or bushy ones. I'm fine with that. But I don't really want it for myself, you know? Because I know that some of those people that have really bushy eyebrows, they brush them up. I don't know what they think they're doing, but they probably think they're brushing them up. No. I did have a girlfriend that used to do that. She had, but that was kind of fashionable at the time, and maybe it still is. But I think with some people, eyebrows it's a whole. I mean, I can't just say just for women, obviously, but it's a whole industry, isn't it? Eyebrows now. I know people that do that for a living. That's it. Eyebrows. And and eyelashes as well. It's like, okay. I've never had anything done to my eyebrows. Like, I've never, like, I wouldn't know what to do. I don't know. It's like, no, never. I mean, if they were out of control, I might have to get a gardener in or something to help trim them down, trim the hedges from my eyes. But it's eyelashes. I don't know, I've never really seen the point in it. And everyone is entitled to do what they want, so I'm not judging, I'm not being prejudiced. No, generally, I don't understand why anyone really, not anyone, but I don't understand why it's just like all the kind of fake hair, all that fakeness. I just don't. And everyone's entitled to do it, but I just don't kind of understand why. Why is it so popular? And this isn't because I'm an old fuddy-duddy. I've always kind of felt this way. And I dated a girl from, well, she was a woman, but, you know, when I was about 21, no, I was 20, sorry, 20, she was about 24, 25, and she was from Trinidad, and she had dreadlocks. And after a while, she cut her hair. And I think we split up, and then we kind of got back together a little bit. And I think she was wearing a wig, and I thought, oh, no. One of the things I really liked about her was her hair, the dreadlocks. It was proper plaited kind of. I think she'd been growing her hair her whole life. And I wasn't dating her because of her hair, but just, you know, and I was kind of growing my hair at the same time, trying to grow my hair long. I mean, it took a while. I mean, one night we woke up, or one morning we woke up and we were tangled. We had to spend the whole day together, which is lucky because we worked in the same kitchen. But it's just, I don't know, that whole. I mean, I dated someone 2005, and to me she was beautiful, like facially just beautiful. That's just how I saw her. But she never wore any makeup, like generally, you know, sort of day to day. She didn't wear makeup. And then she went out one night and she looked totally different. I know that's what makeup can do for you. I'm not, you know, I wasn't surprised that makeup can make people look different. That's why they wear it. But she looked so different, completely. And I realised then that, well, after that I said to her, I think you should wear makeup more often. I didn't say that, I didn't. I mean, she was, for me, she was perfect as she was. But she wanted to go out, and I just couldn't believe the difference it made, because I'd never seen her wear makeup before. I mean, I'm not even sure she used to wear lipstick. She just had that natural skin that was, I don't know, who knows, just kind of. I mean, really, I should wear makeup so that I could be a normal colour instead of pink. So if I was female, I would be wearing makeup all the time. I would never let anyone see me like this, because I'm not. It's almost like I don't belong to the human race. I don't belong to any particular race. I'm pink. I'm not white. I'm not. It's just I'm just pink. Like pink skin. So yeah, I think almost, I guess, I was going to say albino, kind of like really, I don't know. It's weird, I don't know. I've been very lucky. I inherited this. And I've thought about it in the past, or perhaps I should wear makeup. But people are going to know it. And I'd rather just be myself and have someone accept how I look. And I'm not basing it on now, but even back, when I was younger, I've always had this face. It's just, it's more weathered than it was. And, it's like the human body is like, I was going to say the human body is like a ball bag, but no, but the human body is, it's just, it changes with time, doesn't it? It's just natural. But it dawned on me, a few years ago, it dawned on me that actually part of the reason why the women I was meeting were okay with how I looked, I figured, I wasn't 100% sure, but I kind of reasoned it in my brain, was, first of all, they weren't being judgmental towards me. They realised there's more than just how someone looks. But also, they knew that they didn't look how they were presenting themselves. Now, I was looking exactly how I presented myself. It wasn't going to change. I might look a bit crappier when I'm ill or when I'm getting out of bed. But, generally, this is what I look like. And I suppose there's that reality of, because it's always a little bit of a shock. What can be a shock, meeting someone and then going to bed and waking up with someone completely different, that looks different. I would have thought that, and also there's never anything wrong with how they look to start with. Don't say that. It's never like, oh my God, look at you. No, ever, never. I was too grateful for that. But I do wonder, like, why make yourself look completely different? I mean, there's nothing wrong. It's up to them, up to anyone what they do, I know. But I'm just, from a human perspective, I think if I was going to make myself look, or improve how I looked, I wouldn't make myself look completely different. I'm not going to accentuate my nose and make it look bigger. I'm not going to make my face look redder. So, I toned down so my face was almost like human, looks human, yeah. And then I suppose I could make my beard dark. I could dye my hair dark. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I suppose I could wear makeup to give the illusion that my nose is human size. I could perhaps put a little wig to cover my bald patch, the same colour as my dyed hair. Get some spandex. Spandex is supposed to be really good, isn't it, to hide the fat? So I get some spandex so that I look like I've got a slim tummy, like there's actually a waistline, the illusion of a waistline. I don't know if spandex is still a thing, is it? I remember I wore spandex once, and I remember I sort of put it on, I took it off, and everything just fell to the floor. It's like it was just surrendering. Like, yeah. What's this got to do with Monday's boring objects? I don't know. Just started thinking about it. Started thinking about makeup and hair and... The thing is, all these things, like tattoos, never really been a fan of tattoos, although occasionally I have. Wigs, makeup, that stuff can transform a person's life. Like, transform. And so, you know, it's not... Cause I've heard people say in the past, no, let's ban all makeup. No, you start banning things, where does it end? Oh, banning makeup. But it can just make such a difference. But at the same time, I mean, I remember meeting someone who said that for the first 12 years of her marriage, her husband never once saw her without makeup. 12 years. How is that even possible? I mean, she would literally get up, she'd go to bed, full makeup, get up before him and put her makeup on again. And because she didn't think that he would love her if he saw what she really looked like. And I'm pretty certain, I might be wrong, I'm pretty sure that people that get married and stay together for that long are not with each other just because of how they look. I might be wrong. I don't know. I don't know. I think he's making some very weird noises. Very strange. I don't know why he's going... So yeah, anyway, Monday's boring objects. Makeup. Hairstyles. Done hairstyles. Piercings. Now there's only one piercing I'm not really a big lover of. I'm not really big on piercings generally. Like, as far as, I don't have any piercings myself. I did have 2 piercings in my ears. I'm talking about, okay, let's look at piercings. Let's talk about that. So, I'll start off with the piercing that I don't know why. I think it just reminds me of a bull. You know those ball piercings, those ball rings in the nose? Is it between the septum of the nose? It just reminds me of a bull. Because the bulls have it, don't they? Or cows or bulls or whatever. And it's weird because they're very popular. Yeah. And they're not a new thing. They've been around for decades. They were around when I was a kid. If you go back to the punks in the 70s, they had stuff like, they had everything pierced. So there's no, it's not new. It's just recycled. A lot of fashions are just recycled, aren't they? What did someone once say? Just wear whatever you wear and eventually it'll become fashionable again. Obviously they weren't talking about me when they said that, because I don't wear anything fashionable. I'm not very fashionable. Piercings. There was a girl at school who had... Do you remember the Tracy... Oh, not Lawler, not Chapman. Girls just wanna have fun. Well, Cyndi Lauper, that's it. Cyndi Lauper, the Time After Time video. Time After Time. It's one of my favourite songs ever. And she's got, I think in the video, she's got makeup on, like really heavy eye makeup and tattoos and... I don't have tattoos, but like, piercings maybe. Yeah, I've never... There was this girl, I think she was in my year, and she had makeup, but she had this, which you weren't really supposed to wear. Not really. I mean, girls did, but weren't kind of supposed to. It's kind of one of those weird rules, They didn't enforce them so much. No bikinis. They enforced that. Sports. And her makeup was so heavy on her eyelids that she could hardly open her eyelids. And I wanted to talk to her because she intrigued me. But she was also very miserable. Maybe because she couldn't open her eyes. Maybe she didn't see me. Maybe that's why we didn't end up talking. But I was intrigued. Like, just seemed very... I don't know. I've always had this thing to want to cheer people up, which meant I dated quite a few miserable people. Not all of them miserable, but some were kind of a little bit... Well, I tried to not chat up, that's not the right word. It is, but, I found myself attracted to miserable people, wanting to cheer them up, wanting to make their day better, their night better, just... I don't know why. It's not so much now, but when I was younger, I was like that. And there was this lady who worked in a coffee place, and she was just miserable the whole time. I think I saw her smile once. I think that's when someone fell over. So it was... But I was intrigued by her, because it was a challenge to make someone laugh, or to get someone to smile when they really don't seem like they want to. It's a challenge. And I always liked that challenge. Yeah. But anyway, the amount of makeup on her eyelids, I wanted just to say to her, like, what's going on? I just couldn't figure out how she managed to get so much stuff on her eyelids, because it was really like about a foot deep, and she didn't look comfortable with it. And I was drawn to her because I wanted to see if she was all right. I suppose I could have just walked up to her and said, "You all right?" But I didn't, because I was shy. So, just trying to think of some other makeup that I've seen. I've seen extreme makeup in the past, and I've seen really... Some people know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. But some people seem to be able to do it where it's not even obvious that the person's wearing makeup. But to the point of seeing... I've watched tutorials, and then I know they're not aimed at me, but I've watched makeup tutorials on YouTube. And I'm absolutely amazed at the difference. And I didn't notice really how different people can look until Facebook came along. And I'd see pictures of people and they literally didn't look like themselves. They'd have like 30, 40 pictures and they'd all look like different people. That, I just don't understand. I mean, I guess it's fantasy, but I suppose if you're a con person, and you're going around conning people. Vinny? Oi. I don't know what he's doing. Get down, mate. He's helping himself to something off the table, but I don't know what it is. Behave yourself, please. Please, baby. I did have my ears pierced. No, one of my ears pierced back in... I think I was about 13 or 14, maybe 13, when there was this girl lived up the road from me, and I was friends with her. I did ask her out on a date. I said, "Do you want to be my girlfriend?" I just watched Rocky, and I think that's what he said to her. There was, I watched Rocky. I'm pretty sure Adrian. He asked Adrian out by saying, "Do you want to be my girlfriend?" Something like that. So I did. I walked up and I asked her out. She was just a little bit further up the street near the pub. And I never like to travel too far for dates. And she said, "Okay." And I thought to myself, wow, it worked. Now I need to try it on someone that I like. No. So I did. I liked her sister. I did like her as well, but really, really fancied her sister. She was quite a bit older than me. And I went round to visit, my friend, and her sister, who was, probably 18, maybe even 19. She was probably 4 or 5 years older than me. She was at the top of the stairs, And she said, come in. I said, all right, okay. And she's standing there at the top of the stairs with a bath towel around her. And she says, oh, Tracy, whatever her name was, she's not here. Now, again, I use another line from a movie. This time it was from Chevy Chase. I think it was Fletch. I said, she's not in. She said, no. I said, can you do me a favour? She said, what? I said, can I borrow your towel for a minute? And she laughed. So, yeah. She didn't date me, but she did laugh. And then I didn't even click. I ended up working with her. The older sister, worked with her. She was a supervisor in a factory. And I became friends with her. I didn't even click that it was her. How strange. And she lived opposite me. In fact, thinking about it, she might have even been living in the same blimmin' house that I lived in. But this time it was a flat, because I'd been up there. She invited me up. I think they'd converted it into 2 flats. Because the kitchen was upstairs. Wow, that's very slow of me, isn't it? That makes sense, because how come she's on the same side of the road, in the same road that she lived before? There's a good chance it was the same house. Maybe inherited it off the family. Maybe none of this is true. I mean, some of it's true, but it's such a long time ago. And when I moved away in 1991, I moved away. Like, I had never spoke to any of these people again. Not sure if I even said goodbye. I just said, just got up and went left. It's a bit of a shame, because I liked her. But we'd never dated, but I liked her. So she was nice. It's weird, because I left the job thinking I was going to get made redundant, and also they took me off night shift, which is what I love doing, and put me on that double shift, 6 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon till 10 at night, alternatively, alternate weeks, which is something that I never enjoyed. Stick me on a late, 2 till 10 every week, I'm okay with that. But that 6 till 2, it was too much, just getting up too early, which is fine now. I get up early easy, but back then I wasn't an early riser. Well, not all of me. And it's weird, because she was best friends with another supervisor and they were both kind of my bosses. They were running the floor at night. And they both said to me, why did you just leave? Didn't even say goodbye. I'm not sure they said that. I don't think they cared. But they said, why'd you leave? I said, well, I was going to get made redundant anyway. They said, no, you weren't. And they told me they were just going to get rid of the dead wood. So the people who had been there forever that didn't even want to be there, or the people that weren't any good. And I thought it'd be like first in, or last in, first out. Because I'd only been there a few months, sort of April, May, June, July, August, September, so probably 5 months. And it turned out that wasn't the case, because they liked me. If only I knew. Not liked me as in wanted to marry me, but they just generally thought I was alright. Can't go back now, though. They might not remember me. I tell you what's weird. Well, it might not be weird, but I find it a bit weird. I remember people from a long time ago. Not everyone. But once I kind of got to know someone fairly well, or, you know, maybe lived with them, or lived in a house with them, or worked with them, I have a tendency, not everyone of course, but some people, of just remembering them. And I think, oh, if I see them I could say hello, but then they don't even remember me. I'm like gone. I'm not in their memory at all. And I think, wow. I mean, this happened at the Buddhist Centre. I went back a couple of years ago, just on a Wednesday, I don't know, it was like during the day. And I said hello to this lady. And she was like making out that she didn't recognise me. Like, what do you mean you don't recognise me? Because I hadn't been there for a couple of years. And I've been around her house. She used to give me lifts. I used to work with her. I'd known her for years and years and years. A good 10 years I'd known her. I knew her daughter. And then I'm not there for a couple of years and she's forgotten all about me. I found that strange. Unless there was, a medical reason for it, but I thought, am I really that unmemorable? It's just like, wow. I remember once saying to her, as we were walking home from the Buddhist Centre, I said, again, this is about 2000 and... This would be about 2011. 2010, 2011. And I said to her, I seem to be the kind of person that people just seem to, they think about when I'm there, and then when I'm gone, they forget about me. And she was saying, no, people don't forget you. And she went and forgot me. But I can't explain, like 10 years I knew her. And I literally worked in the same shop as her. As well as just I knew her. I used to go in, she was the manager of the centre for a while, and I used to go in there and have a cup of tea with her during the week. A couple of times a week for a few years. It's weird. I always found that strange. I remember there was someone I lived with once, and I went up to her. She was in a supermarket. This was about 1988, 89. And I said, "You all right?" She said, I said, "It's me." She said, "Yeah, I can see that." I said, "We used to live together." She said, No, we didn't." Maybe I should have been more specific. I wasn't trying to say that we were in a relationship. But thinking about it, that might have been the wrong person. I might have got it wrong on that occasion. It's weird. I don't know. Some people remember me. Like when I was at Churchill. Got some music being played. I hope that doesn't go too loud. There were some people at Churchill. Some people remembered me. Some people just didn't. And there's probably a couple that will always remember me. Like kind of, not like that they think about me, but they'll recollect me in a sense of like that period of their life. But probably most people don't. I mean, it turned out my friend's husband used to work in Churchill at the same time that I did, and he knew me. Well, he didn't maybe not know me as in personally, but he said, "Oh yeah, his name's always on the leaderboard," because I had like a top 10 salespeople of the week, and it was always up there on the leaderboard, which I was. And the only job I was ever successful at. And I thought, well, why didn't he say hello to me then? Because I went to his wedding, which was the first time I met him, because my friend's wedding, and she invited me. I went along. He said hello to me. He didn't ignore me, but he didn't. Why didn't he come? It's like, oh, we used to work together. You may argue, but it was his wedding day. He probably had other things to think about, which is quite a valid point. I was once on a bus, and I was on a train coming home. I think it might have been, it was in London anyway, so I think I was probably coming home from a gig. This was in the 90s. And I'm not even joking here. There was this lady sitting opposite me and covered in tattoos and piercings. Like everywhere, like really a lot of piercings. And she said, oh, I've got piercings. She pointed to her chest. And I said, really? And I said, I'm sure I said, I don't believe you. And she showed me. Now, there was a lot of people around. It wasn't just me and her. And then she flopped it back in. And I said, can I see it again? Can I see it again? I just didn't know what to do with that information. I was just very shy and shocked and just trying to remember for later, you know. It's just like, wow, couldn't believe someone just did that. And I don't know if I would ever be able to... Piercings, I mean, oh yeah, that girl, the one that I asked out in Rocky style, you want to go out for a date? And she said, yeah. We kind of, it wasn't really a dating situation, but we were friends. We were friends before that and friends afterwards, just nothing really happened there. I don't think we even got to the holding hands point. And it wasn't I was holding out for a sister, for, you know, when I got older. I didn't see any chance of ever being with a sister because she was a lot older than me back then. But I think, thinking about it, when I was in my 20s, when I was 20 and we met each other, I think, yeah, she's quite nice. I think maybe she had a kid by then, but I mean, she'll be like in her 60s now. Time, man, time goes so slowly. And so the younger one, this is my friend, when I was about 13, 14. And she had another friend round. And I was probably with Dean. So we were all there around hers. And she decided, or both of the girls decided to give me a piercing, to pierce my ear. So they did the whole heating up the pin, put ice behind the ear, or I don't know, that kind of stuff. And they pierced my ear and put an earring in. And yeah, I think it got a little bit infected, but I don't think my dad was hugely impressed. In fact, I'm not sure if I hid it from him. Yeah. That might have been, yeah, I think I might have hid it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've just got a kind of vague memory of having like a sticker or like a plaster over it. I definitely wouldn't have worn it during karate, so this might have been before my karate days. But then I took it out, and the hole, I thought, like, you know, the hole would just heal up, but it left a little dent, a little dent. I don't know if it was the left or the right ear, because it's supposed to, apparently back then, one ear was supposed to mean one, you know, like, pertain to sexuality or whatever. I don't know if that's still the case with piercings. I've got no idea. But, and then, when I was 16, I had my first tattoo, well, my one and only tattoo on my arm. And my friend had a tattoo of the Scottish flag on his shoulder. His went, well, his was a lot bigger than mine, but it went gangy, you know, whatever. Mine was okay, luckily. But when I was 17, Bros came out. And Bros were two blonde twins. There was a drummer as well called Craig. And they had blonde hair, pushed back, and earrings. And one day, I think I was still 17 at the time. I mean, I might have been 18. It's possible. In fact, I might have been 18, yeah, I might have been 18. I went to the hairdresser and I had my hair bleached blonde and styled like Bros, and then I had both my ears pierced. And I looked ridiculous. I mean, there's no two ways about it, because blonde hair and pink skin aren't necessarily a great mix anyway. And then my scalp was completely burnt from the bleach. So it's like, yeah, it wasn't a good look. I thought it would be, but it really wasn't. Yeah, I'm thinking about it, because I had to wait. So this might have been, this might have been 1989. So I might have been still 18, yeah, 18 at the time. So I remember I wanted to shave it off, but I didn't want to be completely bald. Plus, my scalp needed to heal. I mean, honestly, my ears were burnt, everything. It wasn't good. So my scalp needed to heal. So after a couple of months of that, and it was the summer of 1989, I got a crew cut and shaved my hair off. So I wasn't bald, but it was a crew cut. So it was very, very, very short, like army style short. And I got rid of all the bleach. So I was back to being my normal colour hair. I'd also gotten rid of the earrings as well. What was weird is that just after I'd done that, I went to France for a week or maybe a little bit longer, travelling, hitchhiking across the Alps, the French Alps, or when in the hot parts, and I didn't get sunburnt. The only time I've ever not got sunburnt, like just having no shade from the sun all day long, I didn't get sunburnt. Don't know what the heck happened. Different kind of sun in France, I guess. In fact, I might have even gone brown a little bit. It's amazing when I meet someone new and I say to them, I don't suntan. I just burn. And they'll all say the same thing. No, you just have to do it more. You just have to do this, do that. Like, I'm 95 years old. I should know what my skin does by now. They just don't believe it. It's like, no, I'm telling you, this is what happens. And I do. The sun makes me burn. It's a burny situation sometimes. So I have to be careful. I'm pretty sure I just heard fireworks for the second time there. And if it is fireworks, then I'm really sorry, but I will have to bring this to an end, because as soon as it starts, Vinny will start barking. Once Vinny starts barking, that's kind of the end of the road, if you know what I mean, as far as doing anything productive. Because bless him, I did wonder, is there any point ever shouting at a dog? If their hearing is so good, surely whispering at a dog should be enough. So the fireworks must be really, really loud to them. My nan used to hate fireworks, which made it more fun. No, I didn't. She didn't like them. It just reminded her of like the old times and stuff. So I've always liked fireworks. I like watching them. I don't mind the noise of fireworks. I quite like just things like really strong winds, as long as it's not dangerous and I'm indoors. I like hearing the weather. I love hearing a good storm, like a big thundery storm. It's just that power, that I don't know, it's something about nature. It's just nature letting everyone know that nature is in control. We're not in control of nature. And I like that. That kind of feels nice. There's a comfort in that for some reason. And then in 1995, when I had my girlfriend, the one that didn't need to wear makeup, or never wore makeup rather, apart from once when she went out, she decided that I'd look better with an earring in my ear. Just she'd had that. And I said, okay. Now she kind of had me wrapped around her finger a bit, which was okay. I was alright with that. And I would say she was probably, in different circumstances, I would have been with her. We would have stayed together. I guess you could say that about anything, but had it not been for, just the circuit, the stars were not aligned, as it were. But I really, really liked her a lot. And she told me that if you've had your ears pierced before, then it never actually heals up completely. The hole's still there. And I said, I don't believe you. Well, I didn't say it like that. I said, oh, really? Because I was scared. And she said, yeah. She said, all I need to do is just get an earring and just push it through. And it will go through. It won't hurt, and it's fine, because that skin is, the hole is still there. It doesn't heal up. Now, I don't know how true that was, but she managed to get the earring through my ear She got the earring through my ear, and it didn't seem to go through comfortably. And I remember saying to her, if it's healed up, why is it bleeding? She just said, oh, don't be so silly. Okay, fair enough. But that was weird, and I had that in there for a little while, and then I took it out. I don't think earrings really suited me. Any kind of... I don't know, my friend downstairs, he had face tattoos as well as his whole body was just tattoos. He got loads and loads and loads on his back, on his arms, his chest, his calf muscles, his thighs, his face, his hands, his fingers, his toes, you know, like his neck. He had like tattoos everywhere. And I mean, he was fully clothed when I first met him, and he was wearing a mask. So I was showing off, like, I've got a tattoo, look at me, I'm hard, I am, I've got a tattoo, look. So, you know, and he took his mask off, and he was mugging me. That's how we met. And then he's like, he's got all these tattoos on his face, and I felt a little bit silly, just with my little tattoo. When I was a DJ, some people would come up to me and said, oh, what's that tattoo on your arm? And to make them laugh, because I just let you know, it's like a Chinese dragon or lion. You know, on those parades they do in China when they're like running around and they've got the big tail and it's like a dragon or a lion or whatever. So what I would say is, they said, what is it of? I said, oh, that's your mum. Sometimes they'd laugh, sometimes they wouldn't. After a while I changed it to that's my mum, and that generally got a laugh. Yeah. It's about adapting, isn't it, really, life? So I thought about getting a few cheeky tattoos. You know, like an arrow, so keep going down, you know, that way. I don't know, maybe. I did see, my next door neighbour when I was a kid, my next door neighbour was a Navy person, or former Navy person, the man who owned the house. And he had, below each nipple, he had written, one said sour, the other one said sweet. Seriously, like, okay. And he had just like sailor tattoos, kind of like an anchor and stuff on his forearm and things like that. Kind of very Popeye-ish, really. And I do like funny tattoos. But I don't know, I'm thinking maybe I should get tattoos. Maybe I should get some face tattoos. I mean, chances are, you know, my time of, the time span, or the time scale of me doing any kind of serious bank robberies is probably gone now, isn't it? I probably can have a face tattoo and not be too bothered. But at the same time, it's never appealed. I don't know. When I see some people and they kind of literally, their entire face, their nose, everything is kind of like a skeleton, or everything's done. And I'm thinking, it wouldn't appeal to me to have that myself. Although it possibly improve my looks, but I don't. I don't know. Piercings though, like lip piercings, that just doesn't look pleasant. Like to have it done. I've never had my tongue pierced. I've known loads of people have had their tongues pierced, and nose pierced, as in like with a ring or with a stud. I've seen thousands and thousands of people have got them over the years. So that's nothing new anyway, is it? But those ones that go in like the bottom or through the lip, that's one that I kind of, Oh, the one thing that I never saw before until, well, it's not recent, but the last probably 20 years actually, but the stretchy ear ones. And I genuinely didn't think that it was stretching the ear. I thought it was just like an optical illusion where they put it in and it looked like it was stretching the ear. But the ear doesn't go back. And I do wonder why. Not why it doesn't go back, but why. Just generally, why? Answer me, why? I don't... I mean... the amount of people that got scars on their eyebrows for when they used to have earrings or like eyebrow rings or studs through their, and they've been ripped out by accident, or it's just left a scar anyway. Like hundreds of thousands of people around the country just walking around and they've got that little scar just on their eyebrow where they used to have an eyebrow ring or an eyebrow piercing. Let's say piercing, that's better, isn't it, than stud? Piercing. And again, I never fancied that because I thought, well, what if it gets caught in my cardigan when I'm putting my cardigan on, or my thermal underwear, my thermal vest? If it gets caught and I'm trying to get dressed really quickly because I don't know, maybe I'm on a bus or something, and just, if that gets caught, I don't fancy that. And then there's ones that go across the nose, like at the top of the nose. And isn't that what Frankenstein's monster had? You would get people confused. They always have to say something, don't they? When you say, "Oh, Frankenstein," is that what Frankenstein had? No, I think you're talking about Frankenstein is Frankenstein's monster, not Frankenstein is the scientist that creates Frankenstein. No. But that's not what... When you think of Frankenstein, we think of the monster, don't we? Simple as that. So why don't we just move on and accept that Frankenstein is the monster? The movie has Frankenstein and there's a picture of Frankenstein, the monster, not the bloke, the little bloke that makes him. No. Oh, he has things don't they have bolts at his temples as well? You realise all of these things could be done without actual piercings. Just done with magnets. I'm not talking about the bolts in your head. I don't know how useful that would be to have a magnet through your brain, but as far as in your nose, you could have a little magnet inside your nose and another sort of thing, so it kind of stuck together. And probably the nipple piercings. I never fancied that. It looks painful It chips your teeth as well. No, but it's just, I don't, no, I don't, it's just not something that I would, like, even, there's parts of my face I wouldn't want pierced. But there's parts of my face I probably happily have pierced as opposed to my body. I'm sure I saw someone with a pierced toes, like in between their toes or something. Like, what's that about? Come on. No offence, but I mean, it's good if you like it, but ooh, just seems a bit. And then there's that piercing above the two front teeth. There's a lot of work. How do you eat with that stuff in? Doesn't all of the food get stuck in it? And the nose piercings, don't it get all clogged up with bogies? Just a question, I don't know. And the nipple ones, they get all clogged up with milk. I don't know, I'm just assuming. I mean, I've not ever. I just assume if I ever made a hole in my nipple, milk would squirt out. That's just, I don't know if it's true. I like to think it is. I did see one person who had lots of tattoos, and I was absolutely. She came out of a. This is my. She came out of this shop, a comic shop, and I think I banged into her, and like helped her pick her stuff up. Ideal opportunity to fall in love and spend the rest of our lives together. It's a romantic story, isn't it? But the thing they miss out in these romantic stories is the concussion and the memory loss. So, banging heads with someone isn't always romantic. Anyway, I thought she was lovely. And she had all these tattoos and she was dressed to show the tattoos off, and normally it not something I generally would be into. But there's something about her. It's like, oh, I don't know. I saw her again in a restaurant. I was on a date with someone else. I mean, I'd never dated her because I didn't know her, but I saw her because she's recognisable because of her tattoos. And there's this other girl, or lady, so many freckles. Never seen anyone so many freckles in my life, and it really suited her. I mean, I suppose it's hard to know what suits someone, but I'm pretty certain that a lot of people with that many freckles would cover them up. But she didn't, she just let them be there. I mean, I'm just thinking 101 Dalmatians. I'm not what I'm saying is there's loads of freckles. But I've never seen anyone with that many freckles before. Like on their face, I mean. And it was just intriguing. That's the thing, isn't it, about humans? Everyone's got something that's maybe a little bit different, a little bit fascinating about them. Some people will be their height, some people will be perhaps the muscles, like me. They're super sexy. I've got everything really, but other people it might be the accent, it might be, if you're from a different part of the country or different part of the world, maybe it's intriguing to hear someone talk with a different accent. Maybe it's the smell, maybe it's their hair, the eyes. Apparently, blue eyes are quite rare in the world. Most countries around the world have brown eyes. Yeah, I've kind of always liked brown eyes. I like blue eyes as well, but I've always found brown eyes quite nice. But they're common. Really common. Like, whole countries have like pretty much all got brown eyes. But we got a mixture here. It's weird. I don't know. I thought brown eyes was quite exotic. Mind you, with my eyesight, I mean, all eyes kind of look the same. That's some amazing new technology that I think they've found that they can put a chip into the back of an eye and help someone to see for the first time. Someone who's born without sight will now be able to see. And I thought, wow, you know what I mean? Like, that's just phenomenal. To be able to have something like that is beyond belief, you know. It's kind of, it's next level. Just wow. It's just wow is probably all you can say, really. Wow doesn't even cover it. And then I started thinking, imagine I was in a relationship with someone and she was born without sight. And we'd been together for a while and we were in love and maybe just got married, maybe been married for a while. And she was offered to have this operation as part of their ongoing trials, because now they know it works with a few people. They want to put it out and try and, get it out on the market and reach more people, help more people. And of course, I'd be over the moon if she was being helped. However, I think there'd be part of me thinking, how's that going to go? When she gets her sight for the first time and sees for the first time, and she looks over at the doctor and hugs him and kisses him, thinking it's me. And then she sees me for the first time, realising that she'd married me. Would it affect the marriage? Would she accept, like, okay, she didn't know. If she was born without sight, she had no idea what something looks like anyway. But she might not be pleasantly surprised by my appearance. And I wonder, would she divorce me? Or would she just ask the scientists to take the chip back out of her eyes? I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? Just that disappointment when she realised that I looked like this. It's like, really? I could only do that against myself, couldn't I? Because I couldn't do it against anyone else. So yeah, I love all this technology. Anything that helps people, I just seriously puts me on cloud nine. Love it, love it. Anything that can help someone that's doesn't have use of their body to start using their body again, or to start being able to talk or type, or all that sort of stuff. Absolutely mind-blowingly exciting. So exciting. I did have someone, what did he say? Remember this old bloke, I was sitting on a bus with him. It was a few weeks ago. And he was telling me that he'd been married for 52 years. So he's all suited up. He was on the way to the bank or something. It was banking Monday, he said. And he had his suit on and everything. And he's probably in his late 70s, probably 80s actually. And he got married when he was about 18, 19. And I said to him, I thought, you know what? There's a few questions you can ask an elderly person. Some things maybe not on a bus. So maybe it's not the right time to ask, what's your favourite positions in bed? That's not a good thing to ask. But you say, what are your main regrets in life? Again, that's a personal question, perhaps a bit too personal. So I thought I'd go for something that was not too personal, but kind of vague, but at the same time, it's probably something he's been asked before, but it's a question that's intrigued me over the years. So I said to him, Jack, I don't know if that's his name, but he answered to it. I said, Jack, what is your answer? I've got a question for you. What is the secret to a long and lasting marriage? A successful, lasting marriage? And he pointed to his ear and he said, hearing loss. And he started laughing. I said, what are you talking about? He said, can't hear her nagging at me. And I thought, wow, I didn't expect sexism at 9 in. But hey, that's what he said. Not me saying, that's what he said. And I said, come on, she said, no, but we love each other. It's about give and take. She gives, I take. I thought, okay. Then he started talking about slippers. And I got a little bit confused. I said, why are you talking about slippers? He said, because I like slippers, I collect them. You collect slippers? Yeah, I collect slippers. Why is that confusing to you? Why is that weird? I said, I don't know. I just really didn't expect you to even mention slippers, never mind your passion for collecting them. He said, I didn't say anything about passion. I said, I like. I didn't say I love, I like. I like to collect slippers. I love balancing sausages. What? What do you mean balancing sausages? Well, balancing them. Like balancing them. Like you do with matchsticks. Like making little houses and stuff, but with sausages. I said, why don't you use matchsticks? He said, they don't even sell them hardly anymore. You can't get hold of matchsticks anymore. They're kind of pretty much gone. Lighters are no good for building stuff with. But sausages are much better. I said, how is a sausage better than a a lighter for standing up. Surely a lighter is more kind of stable. And he said to me, don't ever argue with the sausages. And I thought, that's a good point, actually. I don't know what I was thinking. And then he said, is that really all you've got about piercings? That's all you could think about? That's all you could come up with is a couple of examples of piercings in all those years of being alive? I said, yeah, I really haven't got a lot of experience with piercings. And why did you choose that as a subject for today's recording? Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I did also talk about makeup and some other things as well. Yeah, it was a little bit all over the place, wasn't it? Well, it's kind of supposed to be, really, isn't it? It's supposed to be all over the place. It's not. I mean, it's a bit more focused than the maybe some recordings, but it's still going to be all over the place. Yeah, I think you should have focused more on a subject that you knew at least something about. I said, look, that has never been a prerequisite for these recordings, me having knowledge about something. And he said, why don't you just wrap it up though? Shall we just finish it and go for a little jog? I said, go for a jog? He said, yeah, let's go for a jog. It's about time you got yourself a bit healthier. I said, suppose I could. I said to him, I know what I'll do. I'll meet you outside in an hour, okay? And he went outside and I locked the door. And even today, I still can't remember who it was I was talking about. Who was I talking to? I don't know. It's only me here. That was weird. Was it Vinny? I don't know. Vinny's been staring at me for the last few minutes. I'm sure I heard some fireworks earlier. I'm sure I did. Anyway, I'm going to get ready and bring this recording to an end. Tomorrow is Trivia Tuesday. So thank you for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself because you do deserve to be happy. And be gentle with yourself. You deserve to feel safe. Lots of love. Bye.